Thank you, Ken. Now you do? Okay, good. Well, good morning, everybody. If you weren't awake, you'll be awake now, right? So excited to be here. This is our 6th media post, and we always love coming back because you guys pick great locations, especially after the big storm we just had. Did anybody happen to catch the sunrise this morning? I did. So if you haven't, it's right up there. Really beautiful. And the weather's supposed to be gorgeous today, so in the 80s. And for those of you who are interested in fishing, I'm going fishing tomorrow, which should be fun. So before we get started, we're actually going to talk about paid, owned, and earned today, because there's a couple panels. Michelle, I know you're up at 10:30, and I thought this would be a really good discussion point because we actually still have a lot of confusion in the industry on paid, owned, and earned. I'm not going to spend too much time today talking about Salesforce Marketing Cloud and what we do, because I'm hoping that most of you guys do know what we do. But we're doing everything now from social, including paid. We're doing everything from a CRM standpoint, social enterprise with Chatter. That's really why Salesforce bought us, so really merging in social in every way possible. But we'll talk about that at the end. Now, one of the things that this is very interesting. I speak a lot, and when I talk about paid, owned, and earned, people still don't know the difference between paid, owned, and earned. And I know many of us are in this room, and this is what we do, but we're going to go through some examples today to see how well we all know it together. And the reason for this, big question mark, is essentially there are still too many silos that are actually taking place within our companies. So we've got our media teams, we've got our content marketing teams, we've got our e-commerce teams, and they're all working with different vendors, right? Like many of us in the room, we all represent different pieces of technology, and everybody's working with different technology pieces out there, and no one's really connecting the dots, right? So how many of your clients out there, or how many of you from a brand perspective, are working with one or more companies involving social or search, right? Many of us. And many of us are actually not looking at the data and learning from each other because we have different pieces of technology. So from a Salesforce perspective, what we're trying to do is at least get everybody using the same platform, but that's something that's going to take some time. So let's go back to basics for a little bit, and let's first look at what exactly is paid, right? What is earned and what is owned. And many of you are probably like, yeah, okay, I know all this, right? But just to make sure, let's review together. So on the paid side, right, that's anything from a Facebook ad, a Twitter ad, a print ad, contextual, right? Anything you're paying money for, right? Very, very simple. And then let's go and talk about owned media. This is actually sometimes where people get confused, where they don't know the difference between owned and earned. So owned media, essentially anything that you are controlling. So your website or your blog or your Facebook page, your Twitter page, your LinkedIn page, your Pinterest pages, anything that you guys are physically changing. Okay? And then earned media, right? Earned media is the result of either our paid media or our own media, okay? So this is literally anything that a user is taking and amplifying out. So if you've checked in to this hotel and you post it on Facebook, right? You, the actual consumer, are amplifying that post. The hotel didn't pay for that. If I went on Twitter and I said, hey, I'm speaking at Media Post this morning, right? That's something that I'm doing. I'm pushing that out to my audience. And of course, ratings and reviews and all of that stuff is earned as well. So, from an earned media perspective, this is the area that we really want brands to obviously get the most out of. So, when we think about ourselves in this room, when we think about, our families and our coworkers, we actually buy product based on what people are saying. Would everybody agree with that? How many people here have actually bought something because their friend said it was awesome? Right? Everybody should be raising their hand unless you don't have any friends, right? So, this is really important. So when we look at Facebook and we look at Twitter, everybody is like telling each other, hey, you should do this, or I'm going here, or this is awesome, right? That's the type of earned media we really want to amplify, especially from a brand perspective. So here's a really fantastic example, and this is something that actually happened to me back in November. I was coming back from a trip, and I happened to be, I'm actually a fan of the Boeing store. I don't know, I travel a lot. It's kind of a weird thing, but I like planes, right? Even though we complain about, so much business travel. And I had come back from a trip, and in my news feed, right, there was this one post here. So you can see here, this is actually right from November, see the world from a Boeing 747 window, buy a limited edition, right? This was not even a paid post. This was just an organic post that came up in my feed. So I'm like, that's really cool, right? So I clicked on it, and it brought me to the website, and I bought 3, right? And it showed up at my place. There's me, right, with my window. And I literally had people, my friends were commenting. They're like, where did you get that? That's awesome. How could I buy that? But it was only a very limited special edition. And they were like $500 each, right, for an old decommissioned plane. But I'm going to make like an art piece out of it. But that's a $1,500 conversion for nothing, right? That's like true, that's like true conversion right there. So those are the type of things that we really want brands to focus on, whether it be paid or whether it be organic. So let's do a very, very quick test, right? Because everybody's in this room, they're looking at me like I know paid, owned, and earned, right? So let's see how well everybody does. Okay, so here are the rules. You have to raise your hand. You can't call it out. And I'm going to give you something, for participating. And if nobody participates in this room, then we're in a lot of trouble for the rest of the 2 days here. Okay? Okay. So this is what we're looking at here. This is one of our pages for Salesforce, right? It's on Facebook. And what this is just a regular post right here on our Facebook page. So it says paid, owned, or earned. So you have to raise your hand first. What's your name? Dan. So Dan, is this paid, owned, or earned? Owned. That's correct. So do you drink coffee or do you like Apple? Okay, so Dan, I'm going to give you a $15 iTunes card because you participated, right? Okay, so let's go to our next example. Here we go. Dan got it right. It's owned. Okay, now we're in the news feed, and this is the exact same content, right, that we were just looking at on the Salesforce page, right? Exact same one, force.com, and this is sponsored. What's your name? Brad or Rick? Rick. Paid, exactly. So Rick, do you like coffee, Starbucks, or Apple? All right. Actually, Brian, do you want to help me back so I don't have to jump on and off the stage? And John will help me. All right.
I like Starbucks, too.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So this is on Facebook. This is the St. Regis page, great hotel. Okay, paid, owned, or earned? In the back, the lady in red. Owned, correct. You know the drill. Starbucks or Apple?
I'll do it. Apple.
Apple, okay. There you go.
Where do you get your name?
Jen. Okay, so now we have St. Regis, right? So we were on their Facebook page, and now we're looking at our news feed, okay? Sponsored news feed story right here. Paid, owned, or earned? David.
I think that's paid, Jeff.
That is paid. Okay. Apple or coffee?
I'm going to pay it forward and give this one to the next person. Just to,
Pay it forward. Okay, I like that. I like that. But I actually have just right amount of cards here. Okay. Okay. So here's the log out page of Facebook for M&Ms. Paid. There we go. Apple. John, come on. This is your morning workout. Okay. So now here's one. I actually took this last night. This is American Express. Okay. So this is on their Facebook page, and then this is in the news feed, sponsored. So on their Facebook page, and then this is the exact same ad. And? Correct. What's your name? Yeah. Trisha. So, first part is owned, right? It's their Facebook page. And then the second part is actually they've amplified that into an ad. So you're correct. It's both. Apple or Starbucks? Okay. Well, by the way, everybody's liking these Apple cards. I only have Starbucks cards left remaining. Okay, so let's hop to Twitter. And I know Twitter's here, so we don't want to not talk about Twitter either, right? So here we go. We're looking at a tweet. This is from Marsha Webb. Right, under $300 in less than 3 hours each way. Oh my God, I love JetBlue so stinking much. First bag flies free too. Paid, owned, or earned? Correct, earned, right? So she is talking about the brand. You get Starbucks, right? And now here is another example on Twitter. So I actually was searching Salesforce Marketing Cloud, right? And here's a tweet from Bloomfire. Happy employees, an increase in sales. No idea who they are, by the way. Paid, owned, or earned? Paid, right? So they actually bought our keyword here so that they could come up in as a sponsored tweet. Nice job, Todd. Okay. All right, now here's one. I think we have two more. So this is now we're talking from a mobile phone, right? Here's this is my mobile news feed. So on the left we have here Smirnoff Ice, a special treat for you. And then on the right here, my friend Tracy is talking about Chloe, the brand. Paid, owned, or earned? Chris? So this is owned and earned, right? So it's owned, right, because they're not paying for it. And then Chloe is really talking about this brand. But Chris, we're still going to give you a card. Everybody's a winner. But you can see here why it starts to get a little blurry, right? And for us, because we're smart marketers and smart brands here, we generally know this. But there are some times where things start looking like they kind of start blurring. So the ad is the content and the content is the ad, right? That's what we're going into. So we can actually come up with better marketing by how people are engaging with us, right? So we have an ad on Facebook or we have something on Twitter that people are really talking about it. Let's amplify that into an actual paid component. And people have already engaged with it, so you already know that it works. So we talked about Body Shop, the last event we were here, and it's always interesting to see a company go through the complete journey of how they're implementing these three together. So this is a great case study. So this is actually their website right now that we're looking at, bodyshop.com. And they've added conversion tracking on every single product. So if you go to, this is one of their products, hemp ham cream, you can share it on Facebook, you can tweet it, you can email it to a friend, you can share a link. They're tracking all of the data of where people are sharing and what is converting. Okay, so this is first really important, right? You want to make sure that you're tracking. And we're going to get to this on how paid, owned, and earned is working in here. So let's just say I go ahead and I share this product on Facebook. Okay? And this is a true story. Like, I actually do love this product. So you can see here, not going to lie, this stuff is killer. Now, if you travel a lot like me, you're going to want to use a product that helps you with dry skin. Just happens to be a hemp body wash. All right? So you can see here, here's my Facebook page. You can see my post right here, right? So this is coming from the website. I'm amplifying it to my actual Facebook page. So this is all earned. And then you can see here people start actually posting. Amy Sullivan, does it help with dry skin? Laura does it, I've tried it. You know, then Mark Miller, like who I haven't talked to in 20 years. Ever used Dr. Bronner's? He's endorsing somebody else now. Amanda, wow, is it legal? I guess she thinks it's pot, but it's hemp, right? You know, and it goes on and on and on. My friend David Honig that I work with. I didn't know it existed. Is it good for sensitive skin? Well, yeah, I already said that, right? So you can see here we're talking about, you know, how do we create advocates? How do we get them to talk about brands? We're giving them very easy tools that they can share across the platforms that they love. So, you know, with the right technology in place, right, we want to understand where people are actually sharing, right? Are people sharing on Facebook? Are people sharing on Twitter? Are they sending it via email, right? What are they actually converting at? So these are the type of data points that really help us understand how we could come up with content based on what people are buying. So for the instance of Body Shop, right, we can see that their hemp products were really being shared quite a bit. And they've been doing this for a year now, so they're starting to actually come up with content based on what people are buying. So if you go to the Body Shop's Facebook page, you can see all sorts of stuff that they're talking about. But if we know that the hemp products are actually converting a lot, well, let's actually turn some paid ads into utilizing our top products, right? So if they have 550,000 fans, we don't necessarily know for sure if they're buying, right? Well, let's take the products that we already know that people are buying, and let's actually showcase some paid ads to them, okay? But it doesn't stop there, right? We can actually create content based on what we know is working. So this is on their website, right? So these are all different types of little social applets that are used from our platform. And people are actually taking polls and taking quizzes, and they're posting it to Facebook. So we're driving traffic back to their e-commerce store so that they actually buy, okay? So utilizing paid, owned, and earned together really work well. So a couple keys with the Body Shop that everybody could take home here. Make sure that you have the right conversion tracking on your site, right? So a lot of us might have Core Metrics or Omniture or whatever it might be. Make sure that you have the right social tracking tools on there. So not just incoming referrals, but what products are being shared, where they're being shared, what the conversion rate is, and that will help you figure out where you actually can leverage more budget. Look at the data and create content for your customers. So whether it's on mobile, whether it's on your website, whether it's on a blog, take the data that you already know that's working, target fans with content that you know already works, so utilizing paid, and of course, give your influencers something to actually share, right? Which is what we were doing with those quizzes. Now here's a really great, very quick example of where we're going as a company, at least from the Salesforce side, on how we're taking paid and owned and then layering that in with CRM, right? Because we're all talking about CRM, this is really important. How do we understand who these people are and what they're doing? Not just who they are on Facebook or who they are on Twitter. So if you go to the L'Occitane website right now, you can see that they've actually asked you to log in with Facebook, okay? So very simple, when you come in here, they say, hey, connect with Facebook right now. What they want to do is they want to authorize you to connect who you are in the physical world to who you are in the digital world, right? So for 5 years and 6 years, at least on the Buddy Media side, we were doing all these great things of, launch a Facebook page and launch a tab and do this and that, right? That's like 5 years ago. That's kind of the old version of social media, right? The new is, how do we actually take all that data and link it up with who we are as people? So I go ahead and I hit, yes, connect with Facebook. Well, what happens is, it actually automatically takes my email address because everybody on Facebook has to sign up with an email address. And then they're asking me for some additional fields here. So here's where I live, and they could ask me whatever I want. But imagine what you could do through the nurturing cycle as people start coming back to the site, and you could start understanding a little more. So that email is routed into Salesforce.com, which many of you probably use, right, for sales right now. So imagine that on the back end using a sophisticated platform to house all of this data, okay? And we could actually understand what people are doing. So Jeff just came in, he signed up for our Shea Butter campaign, and he bought X, Y, and Z. Now, let's just say I'm checking out this product, the Verdant Shower Fresh, whatever it is, right? I've never used it. And again, we talked about this earlier, but the conversion tracking tools, right? So maybe I want to send this to Facebook and ask one of my friends, right? And of course, Brian's always commenting on my posts all the time. Brian's in the back. Anybody try the men's line for L'Occitane? So a couple people here, yes, the face wash is great. And then Brian, because he works with them, he was saying, I generally like the Vetiver. So okay, I'm like, that's cool. I'll go ahead and buy it. So I go back to the site. I purchase that. And because we've actually already authenticated with Facebook, we're creating a profile on this user. Right? Here's Jeff's Facebook ID. Here's what he bought. Here's what he shared to Facebook. So we're starting to learn a lot more about Jeff. And later on, we can actually market to him via email because we have all that information. Hey, Jeff lives in New York. Let's send him an email on all the new stores that have opened around his area. Or let's do a special promotion on the men's line because he's already bought that before. Okay? And then when we're talking about paid components, right, you can do all of your custom audiences on Facebook now, right? Where you take your email addresses that you already have and you market it to your fans. or you market it to people you don't know are customers yet. So you could connect all of these together. Okay, so remember, as we're going through this, all of the ads that we're starting to see are they're getting very blurry, right, based on what we're doing as users. And this was just a great example. Burberry is using this in every part of their business. So they're using it online, they're using it in their stores, they're connecting with their customers. And we have a great story that I'm going to show you guys in 1 second. We do have, after this, we're going to wrap it up just because we've got to get the day started, but I have a Mac Mini. I don't know if anybody has a Mac Mini yet, but we're going to give one of these away right after the video. So Brian's going to come around. Brian's the handsome guy in the back with a bowl. So you don't have to do it, but if you want to put your card in there, we will be giving that away right after this. So Rob, if we want to just showcase the video, the Burberry video, we're going to hear from Angela how they actually use social across their whole company.
We're challenging ourselves constantly to stay ahead of the curve. Be it mobile, be it social, be it physical, they're all one. Life is forever blurred. I grew up in a physical world, and I speak English. The next generation is growing up in a digital world, and they speak social. Whether you're talking with customers or you're talking with employees, you have to do it on a social platform because that's the language they speak. We were one of the first to customize the Chatter platform. We called it Burberry Chat. I will tell you, Christopher and I chat to the entire organization once, twice a week. It gives every associate a platform also to talk back to Christopher and I. Most importantly, it has been the greatest uniter of the culture of any platform we've ever put in place. Now that we've worked with Salesforce and we've got this amazing platform in place, what we're starting to do now is really shift it over to the customer experience. Wherever the customer is, as soon as they say something about the Burberry brand, we should be able to hear it. So if you tweet something positive or negative, our teams around the world can pick up on that and can start having dialogue with you in real time. If you're online, you can click to call, you can click to chat. Within 20 seconds, somebody will be in contact with you. That's the ultimate in customer service. That's how we use Buddy Media, Radian6, some of the new platforms that Salesforce has been focusing on. I think what fascinates me as I travel around the world is all of the high growth markets around the world are already mobile first. This enables everyone to be so much smarter about everything. Everything we're doing, it has to come through here first. We had a runway show in London. It was a mobile first show. Anyone in the world could feel as if they had a front row seat and experience everything.